G'day. Is it time for hotels to embrace the Airbnb model? Welcome to day 47 of the lockdown here in Malaysia, and this is the farewell episode. Not the farewell episode of this particular show necessarily, but it is farewell to the lockdown, which of course means it's farewell to the beard, which I committed to not shaving for the duration of the lockdown, and that 2-week duration of the lockdown turned out to be a hell of a lot more. So I got to tell you, I'm pretty happy that today this thing finally gets to come off. Now, ever since Airbnb was created, hotels have been basically screaming for more regulation, more control, basically saying that Airbnb has become a competitor, but they're not regulated in the same way that hotels are. And there's probably a fair amount of validity to that, I guess. But I actually think on the back of this COVID-19 crisis, as the world starts to unwrap itself from their lockdowns, I think travel will potentially be domestic first. Most people would suggest that because international borders will remain closed in a lot of countries. And with that, I think a lot of people will also want to start traveling out of the cities, maybe going more regional with their travel and their tourism. Which means for hotel brands that have predominantly been focused on high density locations, either city locations or high traffic tourist areas, they're not really going to have a representation in a lot of these sort of local towns if that's where the tourism and the domestic travel starts to go. So what they could do is adopt an Airbnb model where they kind of brand Airbnb homestay type services with their own hotel brand. So if you were an owner of an Airbnb property, you could potentially get a Marriott brand or a Hilton brand on your property if you met their certain standards. Now, I think where that becomes interesting is as people start to travel, they're still going to be worried about the hygiene and the cleanliness of the places that they're in. Hotel brands potentially offer that because they get their systems in place. Airbnb is going to have trouble, I think, convincing people that all their properties are safe and clean and hygienic. So if hotel brands take the Airbnb model, go and find a way to actually start branding their brand onto an Airbnb type properties, homestay type properties, I actually think it could be a real interesting opportunity for them to diversify their model a little bit and also potentially see them through what's probably going to be a fairly quiet, 3, 6, 12 months worth of travel, particularly as most big hotel brands, of course, as we said, are focused on high traffic destinations, whether it's cities or tourist attractions. So what do you reckon? Do you think that the big hotel brands will start to take more of an Airbnb type approach and potentially start branding people's homestay facilities? Do you think you would be more likely to stay in a Hilton-branded Airbnb than just a normal Airbnb? Do let me know in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear what your answer on this is. And that is it for today. That is it for lockdown. I will see you again tomorrow from the other side. See ya.
Bring on through to the other side.